We've got some other big news that we've been following today. A cultural icon, actor, martial arts actor, and icon Chuck Norris has passed away. Best known for his roles in Walker, Texas Ranger, and a string of action films, mainstream and he built a larger than life persona in Hollywood. And I want to bring in someone who really knows a lot about his legacy and impact. Paul Mormando, also known as Mr. Karate USA, joins me now. Paul, thanks so much for joining me. When you first heard the news of Chuck Norris's passing, what went through your mind?
I was devastated. I mean, he's such an icon, like you said, and such an inspiration to any martial artist that out there. And you just kind of, because of who he was and his image and his persona, you kind of don't expect it. I know
Yeah.
it sounds weird, but you don't expect to hear that, and it was just horrible today. Horrible news.
You're right. You don't expect Chuck Norris to pass away, larger than life. When you look at these memes, he became a cultural touch point online. One of the first internet memes of like just being so tough, like the ultimate tough guy. You're Mr. Karate USA. You have been, made national championships doing karate. You've done karate all your life. How was Chuck Norris an inspiration to you?
We came from the same cloth, so to speak. He was a very introverted uh, um, child, and the martial arts helped break him out of that shyness. And it did the same thing for me, as I'm sure millions of other martial artists in the world. But that's how I really identified with him. I mean, because he was able to take his martial arts and utilize it and transcend it into an acting career, which is kind of amazing.
Yeah, I want to talk about that.
So
He was more than just an action star. He reshaped the image of martial arts in America. How did you see that he did that?
when he he's been around for a long time, obviously. And when he brought the martial arts over, you're talking about something that was um created by the Asian community, by Eastern, so here he is, a Western guy who goes into the military. He trains in martial arts over in Korea, and then he brings it back here. So not only is he an icon, but he's a pioneer, and he brought the martial arts back here. So, and it's kind of amazing, he was the first American to really create his own system of martial arts. So he took different, and he inspired me to do the same thing. And that's why I created my system of martial arts, because he was the first one to do it. He was a role model.
Mm. Yeah, before he was an actor, he was well respected in the martial arts industry. Talk about, how good of a fighter he was.
Well, see, that's the great thing about Chuck Norris. There's so many action stars out there now, but he is the only one. And I just want to make sure I'm saying this correctly. The only legitimate world champion that actually transcended over into the
Mm.
into the film industry. There are many great martial artists on screen, like Jean-Claude Van Damme and Steven Seagal, all those guys. But Chuck Norris was an original champion, and most of those guys just came in as actors. He was authentic first, and then he brought it over and became the icon that he was on the film, on the big screen and the small screen.
Yeah, I think because of that, it really transcended the film because he knew how to fight. He knew the art of it all. You could really feel it through his acting. Walker, Texas Ranger defined a generation. What made that show resonate so strongly with audiences?
I think it was just his charisma in that show, and that show, it was, anytime Chuck Norris did a film or a TV show for that matter, it was always a positive role model in it. He never really had, besides the obviously the action and the violence that were in the film, but every character he ever played was something that you'd want to you would kind of be proud of. So his roles were always very prestigious. So I think that's why that Texas Walker was a great show. It was on for more than a decade, and that's a big, plus in the industry, in any industry, for any actor to have a show on that long. That's amazing, and he pulled it off.
Do you have a favorite scene or moment in any of his movies or shows that you kind of remember and that stuck with you?
One scene in particular, I loved one of the scenes when in a movie called Force of One, where he was actually sparring with another great martial artist, Bill Superfoot Wallace, and I think that was one of the best fight scenes, authentic fight scenes I've ever seen on film, because they were two real martial artists doing it, not actors. They were just two
Hmm.
martial artists. That really, That's the first thing that comes to my mind.
It hits different, so to say. At one
Yes.
point, Chuck Norris jokes took over the internet. Do you have any favorite ones?
Oh boy, there was so many of them. Every morning you'd wake up and you'd scroll on social media and you'd see. Well, no, I can't come up with one off the bat, but there was some real winners. I got to tell you that.
We're showing some Chuck Norris facts on the screen right now. Some of them is like the flu gets a Chuck Norris shot every year. I find it so funny. Chuck Norris won a game of Connect Four in 3 moves. Chuck Norris does not sleep, he waits. The chief export of Chuck Norris is pain. Just so many funny ones, but it just shows you just this larger than life persona that he had and that people remembered him by. Before you go, when you step back and you think about Chuck Norris's life and legacy, how do you think people will remember him?
An icon, definitely like an icon. Like he's to martial artists what like Elvis was to music. So I think he's an icon, and his legacy will live on forever, and his children will keep his legacy going as well.
All right, Paul Mormando, great to hear from you. By the way, where can people follow you? You are Mr. Karate USA.
Yes, I'm on all social media, Mr. Karate USA, or my name, Paul Mormando, on Instagram and Facebook and all that wonderful stuff.
Amazing. Great to meet you. Thanks so much for joining me tonight.
Thank you for having me.
All right, we will be right back after the break. Thanks for joining us.